Welcome back, everybody. Live pictures this very moment from the White House. That's what you're looking at there. And inside, President Obama currently meeting with a bipartisan group of congressional leaders. One likely bone of contention in that meeting, immigration.
I think the president choosing to do a lot of things unilaterally on immigration would be a big mistake.
No, because I believe that the president continues to act on his own. He is going to poison the well. When you play with matches, you take the risk of burning yourself. And he's going to burn himself if he continues to go down this path.
I literally am pleading with the President of the United States not to act. Give it a chance. We've got a new Congress. We've got a new mandate.
After Republicans handily overpowered Democrats in this week's elections, does the GOP, in fact, have a mandate on immigration? Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Raul Grijalva of Arizona. He's a member of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, so this is an issue that you are well versed in. Thank you for being here, sir. Congressman, what do you make of Republican claims that executive action by the president would hurt prospects of immigration reform? What do you think of that charge?
Well, I think the charge is not only not factual. If we look at the history of the House of Representatives for the last 4 years, no action at all on any immigration reform. No action on the bipartisan bill that came out of the Senate. So to claim there's a mandate to do something by the Republican Congress on immigration is to say that everything we haven't done now becomes doable. I don't believe that. I think all you'll see is more gesturing around enforcement, more gesturing around more and more money for fences and for barriers, and the fundamental consequence of not dealing with the human impact of immigration reform will be ignored. You might see a guest worker program. You might see things that do not deal with the reality of people here in this country. And that's where I think the president needs to act. He is the only one that can prod this Congress into any direction. And to wait till the end of January and give them the opportunity to do nothing, I think is going to be disappointing to many people and perhaps embittering to a lot of people.
So, Congressman, when you see some on the Hill, people like John McCain, even people who were part of the group of bipartisan reps who tried to get immigration reform passed, saying, don't do it, Mr. President, you don't think there's anything to that?
Well, you know, I think the plea from someone with credibility is important, but coming from the new majority leader of the Republican Senate and coming from Mr. Boehner's track record as Speaker of the House, there's no substance to their warnings that Mr. President, you're going to have dire consequences if you do that. The fact of the matter is they have done nothing, and I don't anticipate anything that approaches the bipartisan bill that came from the Senate. So what are we going to end up with? You know, the gesture by the president to wait, I think, is a mistake. I think by him beginning to actively promote those executive actions, talk about them, make them public, I think would prod this Congress to do something. But just to say that the panacea and the solution for immigration reform and this divisive issue that has been with this country now for a decade plus is going to be resolved by this Republican Congress that's now taking over, I think is a false premise and a false promise on the part of the leadership.
Congressman, you just said, what are we left with? I want to drill down on that a little bit. What specifically are Republicans likely to do, assuming they do champion any kind of an immigration solution? It seems one is urgently needed, and that is an idea that has some bipartisan recognition. What are we looking at, a piecemeal solution? Are we looking at any chance of anything comprehensive?
I don't see comprehensive. I see, you know, based on the rhetoric and the comments made prior to the election and during the election cycle, it was about enforcement and enforcement only, zero tolerance. Let's make sure the border's secure before we do anything else. That effectively cuts out path to legalization. It effectively cuts out families that require unification. It cuts out the parents of dreamers. And so if we're only going to talk about enforcement, further militarization, and those have been the comments up to this point in the House of Representatives, I don't see that rhetoric fundamentally changing. And to pass a piecemeal piece of legislation that deals only with enforcement, A, is not comprehensive, and B, is not going to solve the problem.
Thank you so much, Congressman Raul Grijalva. Really appreciate it, and congratulations on your win, sir.
Thank you, sir.